How are you, Ian? We're there now. Last time when I did a live thing for television, it came up somebody's name, and then it was a prostate cancer sufferer. I got the wrong name tag on the bottom of it, and then the person who was interviewing got the wrong date for our summer fair. But anyway, we corrected that. So hopefully we are starting in Gedling Borough Council with the cabinet meeting today. Welcome to everybody, and Natalie's one of our new legal persons that's here, and Sally's going to speak on the item 5, aren't you? Yeah, so welcome. So I'll ask some apologies for absence. We've got one, which is Michael Payne, and the rest of us are all present and correct. And item 2 is to prove as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on 22nd of March 2023, and that's on page 5 to 7. We agreed? Agreed, thank you. Declaration of interest. Non-declared. None of you has been speeding round up and down the new road now. Nobody's got any secret tickets anyway. Right, okay, there's none declared. So we'll move on to item 4, and that's on page 9 to 14, which is a forward plan, which is straightforward, and you've read it there. I think there were 3 items on. I read it earlier. No comments on that, so are we agreed? We are agreed, thank you very much. Thank you. Move on to the one piece of meat of the procedure, which is item 5, which is page 15 to 33. And this is approval to introduce a public space protection order in parts of Netherfield, Colwick and Gedling Access Road. And Sally's you're going to introduce us on that.
Hello everyone, I'm Sally. I'm the Antisocial Behaviour Officer at Gedling Borough Council and work in the Community Safety team. I'm here today to ask for approval of the Cabinet report requesting, for the Public Space Protection Order, which is a 3-year public space protection order to deal with the issue of car cruisers in the Colwick, Gedling, Netherfield and Porchester, and also Trent Valley ward of the borough. There's been a map previously submitted, so the main roads are the new Gedling Access Road, the Loop Road, and then some surrounding streets around that, because we're getting significant reports of cars turning up for meets, driving in convoy. It's bringing a lot of noise to the area. Cars are being reported for speeding. It's also taking up quite a lot of police resources because they're getting an increase in calls. And they've also taken some enforcement action. So where cars have not had the appropriate documents like MOT, insurance or the speeding, they've dealt with it in that way. But it doesn't deal with the people that are causing the nuisance. That are road legal. So this report is to ask for permission or approval of the report so that we can introduce the public space protection order for a period of 3 years. There has been one previously in place between 2018 and 2021, and we did see a reduction in this type of incident.
Thanks, Sally. David.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks to Sally for the report, and to her and her colleagues in public protection and in legal for steering this through the consultation process and the legalities. And of course, we mustn't forget Meredith Lawrence, who raised this issue and has been persistent about it, and whose baton has now passed to Councillor Whiting. So we've certainly got the local member down there paying attention to this. As the report points out, the previous PSPO was successful, but lapsed, and now the problems have started again. And it's clearly from the consultation, the local residents will appreciate this move. They'll welcome it. I think the police are aware that there's a cruiser circuit around Nottinghamshire, which includes parts of Broxtowe and parts of Rushcliffe, and this will take Gedling out of that loop. So we hope that things will be a lot quieter. The report points out in 2.2 about some of the enforcement activity that the police have undertaken as part of Operation Triple Fin, including seizing vehicles, reporting people for various traffic offences. And the PSPO will give them an extra weapon to use to reduce the level of nuisance in the area. And I'm perfectly happy to support it. Thank you.
David, anybody else? Yeah, excuse me. Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the report. It's very welcome that this action will be taken in form of a PSPO. I know there will be some disappointment along Shearing Hill Main Road that area wasn't included. There were some comments in that. And I think I've read, and I can't find it, that it does say that there wasn't sufficient evidence to support an extension into that area. But I know in the past that I have reported where boy racers have been coming through that route, and I'm aware that some residents have also reported in the past. May not be recent. I do accept that the area that is highlighted should prevent vehicles coming through en masse anyway, because if they're caught in that zone, they will be acting illegally anyway. I'd like to think that activity and any displacement that occurs will be monitored, and then, if necessary, consideration be given to extending the PSPO area if it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No one else? Okay, then I'm really pleased because obviously part of this is a ward I represent on Gedling Borough Council, and my surgery is often crowded with people complaining. One very loud person there, if they're watching this on the replay, I shan't name them, but is very strong about it, very vociferous about it. You can hear it because of the topography of Gedling, because it does echo right up. And I was saying to David earlier that lots of complaints coming from Carlton Ward, which is not in here, but the noise that goes up, and for those people who know and those who are listening, from Carlton Square going up across, it soon goes up on the top of Oakdale Road, and it is a continuous nuisance of whining, roaring, this, that and the other. The only thing is that I hope at some point that some government will get tougher with people, so that this seems silly now. If I read this as an ordinary person not involved with it and understanding about the consultation procedure, we're now going to go another 3 years, and then we've got to go again. And we discussed it earlier. Why can't we just carry on? And David rightly pointed out, well, we've got to prove it's a nuisance. And the lawyers in the room will say, yeah, you've got to prove it. There's a nuisance. So therefore, that is as it stands at the moment. But we do seem to, I don't know whether they'll go back if this works, whether people will go back to Junction 27, whether we'll find another snake pass where I live in the middle of Carlton, which has got a lot of chicanes in it that they come roaring past now and then. But it is a matter of common sense and road safety. So I think this is something we need to support and we need to move forward. There was something on, where was it? Can we just explain the item 5.2 on page 19? Any challenge from the PSPO must be made to the High Court by interested person within 6 weeks of the PSPO being made. The PSPO, does that come in straight away, or do we have to wait for that 6 weeks period?
No, we don't have to wait for the 6 week period. So it does come into immediate effect, but we need to make sure that the public are aware that it's in effect. So it needs to be published on the website, and site notices need to go out so that in terms of enforcing against it, people are aware that it does actually exist. But no, the challenge could come in anyway.
And then just on top of that then, so what's the procedure? How do we do? Do we put the local notices in the paper, bit of local publicity, that type of thing, to make sure that people are fully aware of this, because we're not going to play around?
Yeah, we have to put it on our website, we have to put some site notices out, and then there no doubt will be some publicity on top of that just to make people aware in the area, is my understanding.
That's brilliant. So if there aren't any further comments, I'm going to move the recommendation, which is on page 15. It's at the bottom there. I was going to say, could we have is it possible to have a report back to see how it's going through you, David? 6 months? Just to see where we are, so it just keeps it fresh in our minds.
We'll monitor it and bring it back.
Yeah, so we'll be monitoring that. Yeah. And it's also, from the police's angle, having spoken to the police about it, it backs them up and gives them something to work with. So I'll move that recommendation on page 15. Can I have a seconder? Have a seconder, and we're agreed. Thank you. And I think we haven't got anything else today. So thank you for your attendance, and I'll close the meeting.